I'm going to be going over the Lightsworn deck list and deck profile. And the main premise of this deck, Lightsworn, is literally to just mill. If you don't know the term of milling, it is to send cards from your deck to the graveyard. In Lightsworn, it's specifically top deck. That is why I don't run too many sub-cards, as you'll see in probably timestamp 2.00 when I get to the actual deck profile, so pay attention to that. The whole premise of this deck was before to get Judgment Dragon on the field. He was the god. He rivaled the gods. He can knock out anybody. Literally anybody. But now, with the release of Battle of Legends, which was, I believe, a month ago or so, Minerva the Exalted came out. And the cheap version, she's like $8, $12 now. So not much, not very expensive compared to the World Championship card. She would have made a big play back before, but we're evolving for spirals now. That is literally the main premise of this deck, is to mill to get Judgment Dragon, but also to get Minerva. Minerva is a force to be reckoned with almost as much as JD, if not more, because she has draw power if you get lucky with the right Lightsworns, and also she is destructive. When she dies, she will mill 3 any Lightsworn cards. You get to pop on the field a number up to the Lightsworn sent. Now, if you combo in with her, with Michael the Arc Lightsworn, you're for sure going to knock out your opponent. That's how I've won almost all my matches. I've topped in almost a lot of my locals, except for one match which I got destroyed by a Paleozoic. I drew a dead draw. 2 fellas, 1 hand. That's not very good. But if you can cycle in with Michael and Minerva, it's perfect, because they can't do anything. You got all Lightsworns in the graveyard. Even if they stop your Minerva with the Paleozoics, you got more Minervas. Plus, they would have to stop your Michael effect, and you can just constantly recycle. So, timestamp 210. Let's actually get into the deck profile. It is pretty straightforward, as it is pure. Running through 3 Judgment Dragons, there's not much explanation needed for this guy. He's just powerful, he's overkill. We got 3 Raidens. He's pretty much the best Lightsworn when it comes to this deck, because he can mill on your turn. And that is godlike for a Lightsworn deck, because what they did before, they just had to build up, and then on their next turn they had to kill. With this guy, you can do everything on your first turn. So, yeah, just perfect. Also, dating back to the Dragon, I would never summon more than 1 on the field at any time. Not just because of his wipe effect, but because if your opponent has a Regeki, well, you're screwed if you just lost all your JDs. So, play smart with JD. Fairy Tail Snow, Banishing Recovery. You're gonna see there's a Giant Rex in my deck. I would only recommend running 1, because once 1 gets to the graveyard, that's all you really need. But you can instant Minerva, and there's some spell and trap cards in my deck that don't really matter, because they're not Lightsworn monsters. You can't combo in with anything. So once in the graveyard, they're dead. 3 Goblinderberg, just for the brick hands to slow them down, or not to slow down, but you can instant Minerva with this normal summon. And if you go into Twilight Cloth, well, then you can still, or not Twilight Cloth, Twilight Eraser, you can still combo into everything else you need. So that's why it's a very good card. 3 Honest, because now you're allowed to run 3. Pretty good now. People say run My Body or whatever. It's not really just for defending, it's also for attacking. My Body only stops card effects. This does nothing. This has nothing to do with card effects, but this has perfect attack power. So this is why I run it. And the reason why I run 3, again, if Paleozoics like to screw you over, well, you got 3 of them, they negate 1, that's not much. The next, I have 2 Illumina. I would recommend running 3 though, because she is the recovery of this deck, other than Michael. There's not much to go over when it comes to her, so just run 2 to 3 of her, and you could, if you spam her, you can go into a Dante. That's beautiful. 2 Wolf. I hear people saying run 3. Well, I'm also running 2 Phallus, and people say run 3, run 1. I don't like that though, because Phallus has a pop effect, and even if she's in the graveyard by like an accidental mill of a spell card or some other effect, it's not that bad of a deal. So, plus there's like the only card that can mill that's not Lightsworn is Judgment Dragon, and it doesn't matter if once he's on the field. 2 Baby Minerva, just for the extra mill effect, and if you really need to, the search effect. She's beautiful when it comes to this situation, because She has an extra mill, so that gives you an extra card, and who knows, that might be the Fellis, or that might be the Wolf, or something else, another name. She is beautiful when it comes to this deck, but I don't know if I would run even more than 2, because she becomes a little bit, not bricky, but she's not very good for the open hand, or even drawing. 2 Raikou, because of his banish effect. Yes, he banishes the Lightsworn from the graveyard, but once I get a Punishment Dragon into this deck, or once you guys do if you copy this deck style, it's beautiful, because you can just recover and cycle through whatever you need. Also, because when he banishes a card on the field, it's not targeting. So if you go against like the spiral that can't be targeted or whatever, well, this guy bypasses that, and it's also not destroying, it's banishing, and this is a perma banish unless they recover. So pretty good. I like him. Fairy Tail Luna for the search effect of Fairy Tail Snow, and also because it kind of locks down your opponent. If you're able to get 2 on the field, this card is beautiful, because otherwise they're going to have to mill whatever they got in the field, and even if in a mirror match, if your opponent goes Judgment Dragon, well, you activate this, now they're going to have to send a Judgment Dragon from their deck to the graveyard. If they already have one in the graveyard, if you have both, you just shut down his Judgment Dragon. So I would recommend running this, maybe 1 if you don't feel like you'll need him that much, but pretty decent attack when it comes to it. Plus you can go into Minerva, so it's not too bad. 1 Lila, just for kind of like the back row destruction slowly. I wouldn't really run more because she goes in defense position, and it doesn't really matter much. You can combo into like a Lumina if you already have another level 4 in the field, use her effect, and then go into Minerva. But other than that, I wouldn't really recommend anymore. We got a Gareth now. Just for the additional draw power of whatever I need, because I found out that Gareth and Minerva are beautiful when you combo in with Michael. So I would recommend running 1 Gareth, also because his attack is not that bad. Giant Rex, as I stated with the Fairy Tail Snow, it's an instant Minerva that does not take your normal summon. And it's just beautiful because he's strong too. If you just need a field spam and you just need to rush him, well, he has 2,000 attack, so that can just take out almost any defense position monster, unless they got like an abnormal attack, or defense, I mean. Photon Thrasher, just for the quick special summon if you got no monsters. I used to run him in Zodiacs, but I cut him out because he just wasn't that. I used it around him. I didn't need him anymore. 3 Solar Recharge. Again, a misconception. This is not draw power. This is replacing. You open with a hand of 5. You're going to have to pitch a Lightsworn. That gives your hand 4. But even activating this, that puts your hand at 3. Then you're going to draw 2 cards. But then you're going to mill 2. So it's not too bad because you're also milling. But it is not draw power. It is just replacement. 3 Charge of the Light Brigade. Now this is beautiful because you can have 3. Before you can only have 2, but now 3 because it's perfect. Now you got your constant milling and your searcher. It's like for Zodiacs. This is Fire Formation Tenki, but kind of like on steroids. It does what you need for the exact deck. It'd be like in Zodiacs. Fire Formation Tenki activates, but then it also comes as a monster for a Zodiac. Realm of Light, just for the power boost and to protect itself, kind of. Nothing more than that, just for the power boosting. Lightsworn Sanctuary. Actually, there is a combo with these two, because this gets rid of any light shine counters, and this also keeps shine counters. So, and this is the recovery. This is not recovery, this is protection. It will stop your Lightsworn monsters from being destroyed. So if you got this on the field, like first turn, you're later in the duel, you got JD on the field, you got your monsters, well, there's a big chance this card will protect everything, as long as it has enough counters. Also because it's kind of like a searcher. If you got something in your graveyard that you need, you just pitch a Lightsworn, get a Lightsworn. Reason why I say searcher is because when it comes to reasoning, because it has a grave effect, of course it sends to the graveyard. Well, if you got this in your hand, you can search off whatever you lost. And yeah, reasoning because there are some mixed levels. You got like a level 2, you got a level 4, you got like, the Judgment Dragon doesn't count, but you got other levels. Legacy of the Duelist, it's more of just a lockdown as long as a kind of recovery, because you can get something that's in your graveyard. But that's all it's really for. And because it doesn't really hinder Lightsworns, it doesn't take up your normal draw. Or it does, but for grave effect. Foolish Burial, pretty standard, just send something to the graveyard, depending what you need. Instant Wolf if you need to. 2 power wall. If you're going to run a 60 Lightsworn card deck, I would recommend running 3. But however, just for 2, just for a 50 card Lightsworn deck, which is what I'm running, I would recommend just running 2. Because you shouldn't really be so much on the defensive as you should be on offensive. So, pretty much that's all. 2 to 3 Fiend Comedians. You might kill yourself with this though. Because if your opponent has a lot of grave cards, you're going to kill yourself if you get it wrong. This is very good against mirror matches because it can just banish or anything that uses grave. This is basically a super Skullmeister. But yeah, pretty self-explanatory when it comes to Fiend Comedian. We got 2 Lightsworn Judgments. I wouldn't run more than 2. 2 is even a stretch because there's a big chance you're going to draw or mill one of your Judgment Dragons anyways. So 2 is maximum, what I'd say. And 2 Twilight Erasers. For its effect, when it's milled, you can special summon a Lightsworn. Also, you can, when it's activated normally as a trap card, banish your Lightsworn, target 2 cards on the field, banish them. Of course, this card targets, but it's a banisher, so it's better than destruction, because few cards say when this card gets banished, it's mostly destroyed. Moving on to extra deck, we have 2 Minervas. I would recommend running a 3rd. I'm not running a 3rd right now just because I don't know what I want to do. But yeah, run 3 of these. She's like the best main Lightsworn card that's actually Lightsworn now. 1 Starleech Palladiamo, just for its negation of effects, and just because it's another Xyz, it can come in handy. Also, it can be used to like lure out other cards. I would just run 1 or 2 with Michaels, but I'm only running 3 just because I can fill out my extra deck, and because if one of them gets banished, I can still recover play off anything that happens. And he's very good comboing with Minerva, or even other Lightsworns. That is basically the premise of this deck, and what I think of how it should be run. Not much to go through much else. I got another thing to say though before I end this video. I'll be recording my next locals and regionals if I attend to show you guys how this deck really performs and how well it can do. I also might be doing a giveaway of a Draco deck, True Draco, but note, there are no Masterpiece, there is no Dragonic Diagram. It's literally just a Draco kind of thing. It's not the best deck, but it's pretty standard. But I also got other decks, Shinobird or whatever. If I do decide to do this though, I will be having a Snapchat account specifically for this. And you guys can go add me on there or whatever, and winner will be picked and will be shown in the next video. But for now, the main thing what I'm going to do, I'm going to be recording my matches, as long as it's okay with anyone else who I'm dueling, and if I'm going to regionals, if it's okay, I can record. If not though, then too bad or whatever, but yeah. Let me know what deck you guys think I should be running though. I got like 2 weeks. It's November 25th is when the Winnipeg Regionals is happening. Let me know what deck you guys think I should run. I'll be posting a final deck update on November 20th. That will be the last time I'll be grabbing cards, and I would just have to be thinking about which deck I should be running. So pay attention for that. Let me know what I should be running. Hit the subscribe button. If you subscribe, let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions, ask them, and I'll get back to you. For now though, that's all I have to say to be done about Lightsworn and everything else. So, thank you all for your time, and I'll see you on the dueling field.